Hello! I thought today we would work on rock and roll. So when I demonstrated this card probably about a week and a half ago, I mentioned a few different techniques including rock and roll. And notice on this project how there's different colors in the butterfly. There's the Highland Heather and then the Balmy Blue. So that's what I'll be focusing on today. And here are a few combinations. So this one is apple, granny apple and Bermuda Bay. See how there's the bay on the ends, the tips of the butterfly. This one is heather and balmy. This one is apple and saffron, grapefruit and poppy, and the bottom one is mango and poppy. And it's kind of hard to see the poppy on the outside edges. I'm sorry, that's mango and pumpkin. Okay, so looking at these projects, I'm just going to punch out. There's a punch that goes with this bundle, which is unfortunately unavailable for a little bit longer, but it will come back. So I'll punch those out and put them here, and I will show you how to do the rock and roll, and then I'll also show you with the purple blue tones. So I'll set these off to the side, and right now we'll use poppy and grapefruit. So looking at the inside papers, I will stamp these using the rock and roll technique. So I'm going to open up both of the ink pads, and when you do this it's good to have a lighter tone and then a deeper hue. Ooh, new pad. Okay, so this stamp here is for the large butterfly wing tops. So I'll start with the lighter ink, and you could do any combination of colors you like. Okay, so I fully inked it up in the lighter color, and now I'm going to rock and roll, where I just kind of roll the tips around in the darker color, and then stamp it right over the top. Try not to get my head in the way. Yeah, good enough. And now I'll do this one, and it's just part of the wing, but that's fine. Oh, when you go to do your next round of rock and roll, there is some ink remaining on here. I'm just going to stamp it, get off most of it. Doesn't have to be all of it. And I'll just focus on that one tip that's going to show right now. Ooh, that one came out really pretty. Oop, I think this is a big one, so I'll do it one more time. Lighter color, a little bit into the darker color. Okay, so that's done. Now I'll do the bottom part. Same idea, lighter color, roll it around into the darker color. Now a lot of people ask, doesn't that ruin your stamp? And it doesn't. It's just a little tip of a darker color, a little bit of ink transfer, but it never ruins my pad. Good. So with the stamp set, there is the solid little butterfly all in one piece, and then there are the two pieces of the solid butterfly. I'll try it both ways, not that it matters too much. It's all the same technique. Okay. Ooh, I shouldn't drink coffee before I do this. I'm a little shaky. Didn't get it on that tip. I guess with it in two pieces, then I could get more of the rock and roll effect on the center of the butterfly. Okay, so that came out really nice. So next I will show you the same thing using the balmy and heather. Put those off to the side. So this is going to be insert right into here, and these I'll punch out and put it on the card front, and it will be done other than adding a little bit of bling. Oh, and one other thing. I had a girlfriend who gave me a call, and she said, something's wrong. My ink pad, I just inked it. It's not working. What's going on? And the first question when anyone ever says that is I ask, what kind of paper are you using? And for this project in particular, well, okay, actually any project, if you want good results, you need to use Stampin' Up! Whisper White or Stampin' Up! Very Vanilla. And I'll show you why. That doesn't look so bad. But if ever you're having bad results, ask yourself, am I using the right papers? Because Whisper White holds the ink so well. So, can you see the difference in these two? This one is a lot smoother, the colors blend together much nicer, and this one, it's like the paper is very thirsty. It's just drinking up every little bit, where this one, the ink lays on top and is blended a bit. So, if ever you have bad results, think about what paper am I using. Okay, so done with that. Now I'll move on to the cooler color butterflies. Let me clean these. So here's my little chamois. It's well loved. If you don't have it, I recommend getting one. It works so much. For the longest time I was using baby wipes because they're disposable and portable, but those leave little fuzzies on your stamp, and then you don't get a good image next time. And then after it's on your stamp, they get transferred into your ink pad. And sometimes you look at the side of your ink pad, it's like, oh my gosh, I've got lint all over it. So then I went out and bought a lint remover, the little roly stick. And it was like, what's going on? Then I tried chamois. Love it. Okay, so let's do this one. And I will do just the big one. And then I'll move on. I have a total of 3 projects. And I'm not going to do the projects. I'm going to more than anything just show you the rock and roll technique. I kept on wanting to have the whole project made, and this is more about just rock and roll. So when you look on this sample, see how one of them, the center of it is in balmy and the outside edges are in heather, and then this is the opposite. Maybe I'll try that this time. Okay, so the big one, I'll start out with it going in heather, get good coverage, and then do the rock and roll in the other color. Isn't that pretty? Okay, now I'm going to do the opposite where I go into the balmy and then rock and roll in heather. Ooh, that's nice. Okay. So this one I'll do, maybe I'll do the 2 parts. How did I do that one? I did the top part in heather and the bottom part starting out in balmy. Okay. So that one came out really nice too. Okay, so that is it on this project. I'm going to go to a different project, and again doing the rock and roll technique. Lots of bits and pieces. Okay. So this one, I saw it online, and notice rock and roll in, what do I have? In Cabana here, and then the rock and roll was in gray. And when I saw that at first I thought, ooh, that's a little bit strong, but after I put the whole card together, I do like it. So before I put the card together, I thought I'd try to calm it down with the rock and roll colors. And this one I used Coastal Cabana and Bermuda Bay for the rock and roll. Then along with that, this is the same layout, just different colors. I tried to, here's a finished one. You'll notice it's not rock and roll because I tried to do rock and roll using these colors, which is balmy and navy, and to me that was too strong and it looked kind of confusing. It was distracting. So then I thought, well, what if I stamp it in balmy, stamp off, and then rock and roll full strength? So that is softer, but I still don't like it. So I ended up just going plain solid. And I guess that's just more of a lesson that just try the colors, see what you think of them first before you put them on the card, because you never know. Oh, and then in the last video I did regarding blends, you like my little blue, navy blue rhinestones? Very cute. Oh, and this set is coming out right here. It's called More Than Words, and it coordinates with this new punch, and that will be available, I think it's March, March 1st. Okay, so doing the rock and roll, I'll do a few of those. Not so much this one. Not that one. So, what color should I do? Using the gray or using the two different, the Cabana and Bay? Maybe I'll do the gray, because I ended up liking that after the card was fully put together. Okay, so I'll open up those two colors. So it doesn't have to be on a solid image, it could be on words too. And it just adds a little interest to the card. Okay, so here's the big, sorry. Now I'm going to do the rock and roll. And I'm just going to try to hit the tips of the rubber. I'm going to put it at an angle. And when you choose a stamp, of course try it, but if possible have it on the smallest size block. For instance, this block, because it's large, but that's the only size that it fits on, I get ink on the edge, which is fine, easy to clear off, but that means that I can't get ink way up in the edges of the rubber stamp. For instance, this stamp, see how it fits almost perfectly on the block? There's just a little bit of extra. That means that chances of getting ink on the edge of this one, if I was rock and roll this one, I wouldn't have much on the edge. Okay, so that came out good. So that is the same as this right here. And when it dries, it'll dry a little bit smoother and softer, and the colors will blend together a little bit better because of using the Stampin' Up! White paper. So that is rock and roll on this project. I have one more to show you, and that is, while I clean this up, that is using this set, Balloon Celebration, and these balloons. Okay. Okay, so this one, these are the finished projects. And this one is using Daffodil and Curry, and this one is using Granny Apple and Lemon Lime. And then also these colors here. And I hear Bo crying at the door, so I'm not going to take too long, because I know he's getting impatient. So I did the rock and roll technique on these. This one is full strength, and then I thought that the line was a little bit strong, so then I did it as second generation, and that looks nice, but I think I still like this better. Then I was thinking, what about taking the bold stamp, put it in Versamark, and using clear embossing powder. And so this is one layer of stamping it in Versamark and then putting it into the clear powder and cooking it. And this is 2 layers of Versamark and powder. And so this is the one done in Daffodil and Curry. And I thought, well, you kind of see the line, so I went over it again one time with just the lighter color, and that kind of smoothed out the line a bit. And here it is again. Bo was crying. And so I'll do it one time. Oh, Bo is crying. Okay, that's pretty much how you do rock and roll. Hope you have a great day.